Howdy y'all, it is Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom. I'm really excited to show you our box number 2, if you will. And we're going to actually do something pretty special for today. This is our 52 to 74 points box mostly. But we're going to make a little exception today because I just realized that they were in this box and I really wanted to talk about them. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to this box eventually and really go through it all. But in a video after this. But first what I want to do is there is a pocket in this box right up here. That is the Avengers from their first grouping up, team up comic. And it is Iron Man in his gold suit, the Hulk, Ant-Man, Captain America, Thor, yeah, and Wasp in her classic outfit. Very pretty. These 6 figures, the reason that they're in this box is because I didn't have room in other boxes, is the basic answer, because they don't actually also share the right point values with each other. I think one of them goes up to 200. Yeah, no, just 150. Okay, so the highest is 150, and then the lowest is 50 points for some of them. But the reason I kept them together is because they're meant to be played as a box set. So it was an entry box set that actually out of the box was really good to play together and was a lot of fun. And so we're just going to go through these 6 pieces today and just go, what exactly are we looking at? This will be just, this video is, this part of the collection is these 6 figures, the original Avengers. So we will start with Wasp, all right? So Avengers, Celebrity, and Lady Liberators. And when adjacent to other friendly characters with this trait of Avengers Founder, okay, there we go. Wasp can use Empower, so she can bump up your damage for close combat attacks. She is awesome as long as other things have the trait. So that's the interesting thing too. You could actually break the game in a way, not break it, but have her and one other with that together, and then she would give out the Empower and the other one would give out their power as well. And she has Running Shot and Stealth, Earthbound, Neutralize, so she actually gets weak at some point later. She can use Energy Explosion when she does. The damage dealt to hit characters is penetrating if they have 2 action tokens. Very nice. Energy Shield Deflection, Super Senses Enhancement, and Range Combat Expert. So actually at the top, she could have Enhancement and Empower, and she has the Avengers team ability, which back in the day gave you +1 your movement, or in the newer abilities, it gives you pick a team ability on your opponent's force, and if you attack that person or persons with that team ability, you get +1 to your attack. So what is she? Okay, she has no defenses showing at the top, but she is a 19 defense, and she's tiny size. That's that simple. So she's actually a 20 at range, and if you park her in hindering, she's a 21. She's hard to hit. She has Enhancement. It looks not green in this camera right now, but she's Running Shot with Energy Explosion. She's not going to do a lot of damage, but she's an Empower and Enhancer within this group. And then eventually she goes to Energy Shields. So if you were to push her, she goes to 20 defense at range on her own, +21 at least. Then a Stealth, and that's where she would start normally on a 50-point line, which that's kind of interesting actually. It's not a attacker, it's a supportive piece. But the poison is where things get really interesting, because if they don't have a defensive power that actually reduces damage, she can poison things. And then her last click 6 is 8 attack, 1 damage, Earthbound, Neutralize. She's pretty rough. But she's more of just, I'm going to support the rest of the team to make sure their damage goes through the roof. And that's what this whole box is about. It was just awesome. So Ant-Man is a similar thing, and he has the exact same Avengers Founder, so he can give a Empower out if somebody else can use it adjacent to him. Stealth, Charge, Precision Strike, Super Senses, Combat Reflexes, Outwit, and then he can use Close Combat Expert as a close combat action. When he uses Close Combat Expert, he has big size until your next turn, so it's like he's growing to punch. I remember something was wrong with this somehow, but basically he can charge and then use Close Combat Expert, which is kind of fun because he's running and then jumping and growing in size and then perplex at the end. He's more not just support as in harassment like Wasp. He's going to also do the support powers as well. Plus he's riding the ants. Really, really fun figure. 19 defense as well. There's that Outwit, Precision Strike. He doesn't have move and attack right now, but you're using him more for the Outwit anyway. and you're paying 75 points for those first 2 clicks, and then you go down to here. Oh, that was the issue. No. Okay, it is that. So close combat expert right there. I think it was just something changed and it messed that up somehow. Maybe it's another one. Yep, down here we get perplex, precision strike, and last click kind of. He's more of, if you go right here, you're going to be more of an actual attacking type piece for 50 points versus 75. He's going to be able to attack some, but more so he's going to be the outwit, hard to hit, just be a nuisance. He's fun. They're both fun. They're the support type pieces. And then we get to the most superpowered support piece of all, Captain America. Avengers Invader Soldier. When adjacent to other friendly characters with this trait, he can use Empower. Running Shot, Charge, Flurry, Shield Ricochet. Give him a ranged combat action and his damage value is locked at his printed value until actions resolve. After the ranged combat attack resolves, you make a second ranged combat attack as a free action. So basically, instead of, there used to be a damage depletion modifier, and they're just saying, nope, he doesn't have to deal with that. He can just keep doing 3 damage. Precision Strike, Invulnerability, Combat Reflexes, Willpower, and then his damage special is where it gets interesting. You give him a power action and choose another friendly character that shares a keyword and doesn't have 2 action tokens. That character is immediately given a move action as a free action with their speed value halved for this action. He allows you to move one of your other characters around the board for half of their movement for free. He takes the action for them. He is very, very interesting. So for 100 points, you get an actual running shot attacker. And he's usable in that, but the problem is that power, you only get 2 clicks for the 100 points. That's what's crazy too. And he's not indomitable. That power shows up on this line right here, which is this 50-point line, only for 1 click. And this is still a harassment attacker that would be kind of obnoxious in close combat. So he also has the Empower thing as well, the Avengers Founder stuff. It's weird because you almost want to just play him at the 50 points because then you can make him upgrade other people, because you play him up here, you're more attacking with him, but he still has this amazing boosting power that he's taking action tokens for someone to be able to move for free and make a running shot attack. What would you rather do, right? And I think the answer usually is make the running shot attack with someone else that could do much more damage, but he has the shield ricochet. So it is an interesting question, and we'll get to it. It gets complicated because he's good, but that power up ability is really awesome for 50 points just to go, okay, my crazy attacker that's for range, I'm going to make sure he gets to the spot to make the shot before the other team gets to. All right, so we get to Thor, Asgardian Avengers deity. He's Avengers founder. When adjacent to other friendly characters as trait, Thor can use enhancement this time instead, so he ups their damage for ranged attacks by +1. Running shot, charge, flurry, pin psychic, super strength, impervious, invulnerability, and toughness. Very simple dial. Very simple. But in the simplicity, it's crazy because notice his range. He has 8 range with 2 lightning bolts, so he can target 2 people. He has running shot with penetrating psychic blast and 4 damage. And the enhancements, the only ones that give out enhancement are Thor and Iron Man, so he can't give it to himself. But Wasp starts with enhancement. So she actually could be carried by him and up his damage to 5. And Iron Man, if it's right there, could up it to 6. Right, with a pen psychic, and all of a sudden, as somebody with impervious, you're like, actually, you're taking all 6 clicks of damage. Nasty, right? But there's a 17 defense with impervious, but there's a striped shield, and he and Hulk are the only 2 in this box set that have the striped shield. Pretty awesome. And if you play this top dial at 150 points, both of those clicks do that. But then you go to 100, and he is a charge piece. He goes up in defense actually to an 18, but that's the hard part, right? Still has the damage with super strength, but now he's close combat, and later on he gets flurry and just weakens, right? He's a very standard dial, but those first 2 clicks for an extra 50 points, you're like, I'm gonna hit hard. Pretty dope. And the sculpt is beautiful. This idea of making it look like this hammer is spinning, pretty awesome. All right, Hulk, he has Empower. All right. So he has the move and attack ability, which makes, if memory serves, means you get -2 to your attack if you do it. It's like hypersonic, but you get -2 to your attack. It's a rough one, but he can use flurry, sidestep, and ignores characters, hindering, and destroys blocking. Outdoor blocking, if memory serves. Maybe blocking all. I can't remember. Charge, leap, climb, Hulk smash. He can use super strength. When he uses an object during attack, he can choose to increase his attack value instead of his damage value by the same amount. So what he can do is go by, pick up a heavy object, and keep his attack actually where it was by using this instead of putting it to damage. And you, well, actually, I think hypersonic speed got changed, and so I think we had to do something where you could still use it to get some sort of enhancement from it. But the idea was he could just keep his attack where it was the idea here. And then Quake, super strength, invulnerability, invincible, toughness, close combat expert, and then battle fury, which makes you ignore, I believe, shape change. Pretty interesting dial just to start. Honestly, he was more one that you just didn't play very often because he was just kind of derpy, unless I think it was lower point dial. Because he starts with this interesting thing, but only a 10 attack. You're like, eh. And then you get down here, and top dial, you're looking at a 17 defense with invincible, 11 attack, super strength. That's going to be 6 damage, right? At least on a charge with 11 attack. He just hits better. All right, sorry guys. So this is where he starts at the top of the 100-point dial, which lower defense, but then if he gets hit just to 1 click, he goes up in attack and damage with no move and attack though, and an 18 defense as well. It's interesting because this is Hulk. He gets mad and gets crazier the angrier he gets. You kind of want him to be a little closer to some of this, and then finally he gets broken down, which is kind of funny because normally you'd think the angrier he gets, the tougher he gets, but this Hulk kind of goes up for a second, and then all of a sudden we have an 18 defense with toughness. But 5 damage with Quake, that's interesting. Gives you some options. He's the one that often is kind of the lackluster, don't grab as often, except for maybe his lower dial. And then I like Iron Man anyway, but this is a crown jewel, I'll just tell you that. Armor, Avengers, Scientist, Stark Industries. When adjacent to other friendly characters of this trait, Iron Man can use enhancement. So he makes them +1 to their damage at range. He can use charge and running shot to start with those jet skates, which is just hilarious because that is an old school reference that he had skates in his armor. Force blast right here, like kind of lame. But here's where it gets crazy. The mono beam. Iron Man can use penetrating psychic blast, and when he does, he can use ignores hindering and ignores and destroys blocking terrain. It's at least outdoor, maybe indoor as well, but at least outdoor. And then Psychic, Pulse Wave, Invincible, Invuln, Toughness, Regen, Outwit, and Perplex. So at top dial, here's where things get wild. He's 150 points, no stripe shield, but you have the running shot. So you can move 5 with that 10, right, for 8 range. So he's got a 13 area of effect of squares with an 11 attack that has Pin Psychic that can shoot through a lot of stuff. That's really, really handy. And then after that, after the shot, he can then outwit the thing he shot. So more than likely he's going to get through their defenses anyway. And he has an 18 with Invincible. He almost guarantees in most fights your initial attack is going to not just hit, but not be able to be seen by the opponent until it's too late. You could play him down here, and that's running shot with Pin Psychic still, with 3 damage with Perplex, so you get up his attack, but not that special mono beam. So you only get 2 clicks of the mono beam, but it's worth every penny, and his attack goes down pretty fast, unfortunately. This Iron Man is a one-trick pony in a way, and the trick is I'm going to hit you from things that you were hiding behind, or I was hiding behind, and now they're broken, and if you can't fly, you can't get through it anyway, but if you try to shoot me, I'm going to get a +1 on my defense through it, unless you see through hindering, and I'm going to make sure the first hit lands. It was a great box set, and the classic Iron Man suit I love anyway, and the gold is just hilarious. This is peak comic book ridiculous awesomeness, and I love it. This is one of my favorite just Iron Men for funny things, and then when he gets on the field, and actually, man, it's struggling to focus on him. Whenever he actually strikes, all of a sudden somebody's like, wait, what? That's Iron Man doing that? And you're like, oh yeah, generation 1.3, like upgrades with the paint, because it's less scary, I guess, with the gold, which was, I think, the comic book explanation. So yeah, this set is in this box because they go together, and I didn't want to separate them out because they work better together with their Avengers founder trait, and that's what's fun about them. Yeah, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about this? Do you have this box set of the Avengers founders? Just awesome. So much fun. It's a joy to have these kinds of pieces because you get so many of these anyway throughout the sets, and we'll see more as we go. But having them together and they work together and are meant to work together makes it fun. And then you can just grab out this little snack pack of figures and play 300 points, 600 points battle, or any version in between with these figures and just have fun, because they're meant to play, and they're not necessarily going to do amazing, but we do have point cost reductions that we've put in. So actually, you'd probably play most of them in the 300 point if you dropped a few of them down. Kind of cool. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this old collector box set that had it, and it was a good entry into the game. I've been Cody from the Keepers of Nerdom. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, y'all.